G'day and welcome to this edition of the COLAC Herald Sports Smash. Round 17 of CDFL action just completed. A couple of weeks of GFL action to go. I'm Lachlan, Cowlishaw. Beside me is Ben Martin, and he's going to take us through the footy.
That's right. Now, the past couple of weeks, there's been some big results between some finals-bound teams, and this week was no different. Birregurra has cemented its place in the top three lock with a three-point victory against South COLAC, not unlike the grand final result from last year. This time around, though, it was 8-11-59 to the Roos 8-8-56. Christian Kelly finished off a strong season. Regular season, with 2 goals, while the big fella Tommy Grayling was the Saints' best. For South COLAC, Ben Cox kicked 3 goals, while Josh Goonan, who kicked 2 final quarter goals, was the Roos' best. So the Roos will finish 5th at the moment, and they're likely to play Simpson in the elimination final in a fortnight. The next game, Forest cemented its top place on the ladder with a 12-10-82 to 8-10-58 victory against Apollo Bay at Apollo Bay Recreation Reserve. Chris Dickinson kicked 3 goals in a best on ground performance lock, while the big fella Michael G. Gregorio was the Lions' best in the win. For Apollo Bay, Charlie Kitchen kicked 4 goals in the absence of Cam Tate and Casey McDonald, who were both injured, while Robert McDougall was Apollo Bay's best in that one. The next game, we have COLAC Imperials v Western Eagles. A pretty one-sided affair, this one, which was a little bit of a surprise to a few people. 14-13-97 to 112-18. So pretty inaccurate there for the Eagles in front of their home crowd at the Ilwillupi Recreation Reserve. For the Imps, Tyson Finnegan, Tim Scott and Ryan Geary each kicked 2 goals, while the young fella Steve Cass was the Cats' best. For Western Eagles, Dylan Fedley was their sole goal kicker in the win, while the teenager Paddy Ryan was the Eagles' best in the loss there. We now cross to Stribling Reserve, where Lorne defeated Alvey 22-10-142.
The Dolphins.
To 11-6-72. So they're just in flying form. They will finish second on the ladder and will take on Birregurra in the qualifying final in a fortnight now.
Big game.
For Lorne at the weekend, Ryan Evans kicked 6 goals. He's just in dominant fashion up forward, while Rick White was the Dolphins' best. For Alvey, Hayden Hickey 3 goals, while Josh McDonald, the defender, was their best. Simpson travelling just as well. They're sitting 4th at the moment and are likely to play South COLAC in the elimination final, as we mentioned before. They defeated Illawarra Biak 14-13-97 to 8-5-53 at Simpson Recreation Reserve. Nick Harding finished off a pretty strong regular season with 4 goals, which gives him 64 for the season, 2 ahead of Christian Kelly, which pretty much hands him the league-leading goal-kicking award with 1 round to go. Corey Bolsh was Simpson's best in this one, while for Illawarra Biak, Dylan Knoll, Carm Beckett and Joel Menzies all kicked 2 goals, while Aubrey Douglas was the Bombers' best in a loss. Otway Districts had the bye, so we'll go straight into the GFL news now. A bit of heartbreaking news for the COLAC Tigers. Newtown and Chilwell, who had won the past 8 games, travelled down the highway to Central Reserve, where the Tigers have been pretty dominant this season and stole a 6-point win after the siren, all tied up with seconds to go when Kane Bouch kicked a goal after the siren from the goal square to win. For Newtown and Chilwell, Jay Bett, who's just been a pretty solid up forward all season, kicked 4 goals, while Ryan Gamble, the former Geelong and St Kilda player, was their best. For COLAC, Dan Jeffries and Kane Learson kicked 3 goals each, while Chris Oborn and Alex McVilly were the Tigers' best in the loss, so hopefully they can bounce back next week when they take on Lara at Central Reserve. We'll cross the lot now with a bit of netball news.
Tough loss there for the Tigers in the footy. Not the same news for the netball. 2 on the trot, Ben. Pretty impressive stuff. The Tigers, of course, took on Newtown and Chilwell at COLAC Central Reserve, and they ended up winners 43-36. Talia Jeffries having a fantastic game in defence, while Danielle Higgins was good for Newtown and Chilwell. Courtney Coolihan scored 33 goals, and Anisa McCormack, she had 20 goals for the Newtown and Chilwell side. So COLAC out of finals, but 2 wins on the trot, could make it 3 this week against Lara. So let's get stuck into the CDFL round 17 action now with the netball. A couple of good games here. The first one we have for you is South COLAC taking on Birregurra. South COLAC got the points, undermanned. The McNamara sisters, Tegan and Nadine, weren't there, but they beat Birregurra 61-34, and that was Birregurra's last game of the season because, of course, they've got the bye next week. Sarah Bark copped an ankle injury but scored 42 goals before that. Ruth Mason, the coach of Birregurra, had 17 goals. Kim Goonan and Brianna Butterworth were the best players for their respective sides. Elvie took on Lorne down at Stribling Reserve, and Elvie were too strong here, 48-32. Morgan Drayton had 24 goals. Eliza Larkin had 27 goals for Lorne. Ashley Mead was the best for Elvie, and Eliza Larkin was the best for Lorne. Now, Elvie still have a slim chance of making finals. It's a mathematical chance, so that means, not very strong. But if they can get a win next week and the Western Eagles lose, you never know. They could see September action. Apollo Bay versus Forest now. Apollo Bay got the points pretty comfortably in the end, 57-34. Kath Spears, the experience there, she had 33 goals, while their recruit Annie Legault had 24 goals. Jenna Day for Forest had 19 goals. Marley Coots was the best for Apollo Bay in defence, and Amelia Jolly was Forest's best player. Simpson versus Illawarra Biak. This is probably game of the round, and it just proved into Simpson's favour yet again for the second time this season. Simpson won 35-32 at Simpson Recreation Reserve. Jessie Hawkins had 26 goals in a best on court performance, while Casey Johnson had 21 goals for Illawarra Biak. Ashley Cronin was among the best for Simpson, and Narelle Frith, the coach, the disappointed coach it must be said, she was the best player for Illawarra Biak. So, bit of work to do. Illawarra Biak won't have a double chance come finals. Simpson will, so it should be a very interesting final series for those sides. Western Eagles took on COLAC Imperials in the final game. That was first versus fifth, and the Imps won 65-35. Pretty comfortably in the end, but Karen Slater wasn't too disappointed with the Eagles' effort. They just need to lift a couple of notches to match the efforts of Rebecca Scott and co. Scott had 55 goals, Jenny Fish had 20 goals. Scott was the best for the Imps, and Caroline Sexton had a good year, and she got best on court votes for the Western Eagles. So the ladder almost set now. I've reported it has been set, almost set now, but we've got one game to go. In other big news, which brings us to our COLAC Herald Sportsman of the Week, we had our man Ben Martin on the scene.
That's right. I was down at Apollo Bay Recreation Reserve at the weekend, fairly early on a Saturday for myself.
Dedicated.
But I was down there to watch Otway District's take on Apollo Bay in under 17.5 football, where young spearhead Michael Gray for the Demons kicked his 100 goals for the season. We reported last week that he was in line to kick the triple figures. He needed 9 goals to reach 100, and he finished with 10 against the Hawks. So well done to young Michael Gray. Obviously a fantastic effort. Our records don't go back to show any junior footballer kicking triple figures in the season before. Well, a few rumours, bit of word around the office says that it has been done. So, but anyway, well done to Michael Gray on that achievement. It's a fantastic effort, and well done to the Demons, and they'll kick off their finals campaign in a fortnight as well. They finished third.
Good stuff, Moose. Good stuff, Otway Districts. Now, we've got finals coming up after this final round, so stay tuned to the radio show and the video show here weekly from Ben and myself. We'll see you next week.
See ya.